What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Yo, check this out. We're gonna try something different today. We definitely gonna try to make it more relatable. So we're gonna get into this. You know, a lot of people don't understand. So here's what I want to talk about. And everything is going to resonate with each other. So check this out. Understand this. Today's episode is more of a deep dive than anything. So you have people out here that don't understand that when you have an online business, a business, brick and mortar, B2B, all of these businesses, it's more than just saying you have a name, right? It's more than just sitting around thinking about, I got my EIN number, I got my tax deductions. It's more to what's going on than a lot of people understand. See, what we fail to realize is this. Trying to get people to understand who you are, what you do, how you do it, how you can help them. It's one of the biggest problems that's going on in this world today. Not only is it going on in this world today, you have to look at what is going on in the world today. You have a lot of unrest. You have a lot of uncertainty. You have a lot of people losing their jobs. You have a lot of people out here who don't know exactly what is coming next. So a lot of people need to figure out how do they maintain. They might have savings set up. They might have, everything set up to be perfect, but they're trying to figure out what's next, right? So some people have decided, some people have decided that they want to start an online business. Some people have the knowledge to help you get to the point for you to understand what it is that you need to do. So they're reaching out to some of your gurus out here, and I've seen it on Instagram. People are reaching out trying to figure out how to start course creations, how to sell digital products. Now, the one thing, they have great ideas. I've seen that they have great ideas. But what they don't know how to do is they don't know how to build an audience that buys from them. Imagine this. Think about this. Every day you wake up, you start posting. You on your grind. You're trying to get that Instagram algorithm to be in your favor. You on your grind. You on your hustle. You doing what you do. You doing you. That's my KG voice. When he was talking about when he was telling JR to go at Mike. You doing you. Do you. But what it is by you doing you, you're not understanding how it is to go out here and get these people to become your tribe and to buy from you. So again, every day you're on your grind, trying to get this Instagram algorithm to be in your corner. You posting content every day, pouring your heart into it. And crickets. That's what you hear. You hear crickets. You know them things like crickets. You get no likes, no comments, no sales. Now what if I told you this? What if I just be brutally straight honest with you? What if I look you dead in your damn face right now and tell you the problem is not the content. It's the audience. They don't see you as the go-to person. They don't see you as someone they need to buy from. There is a kicker to that. Most solopreneurs make that mistake on focusing just on growing the audience instead of building the audience that actually buy. And that's what we're going to fix today. See, with everything that's going on, you want to build a tribe, man. I'm looking at a lot of people out here, and there's a lot of people out here building tribes. There's a ton of people building their online wealth. They're building their next generational extravaganza. They're doing what they need to do. And by doing what they need to do, they want to know how it is to build an audience. So let's build one. Let's talk about it. Let's build that audience today, all right? So if we're going to build this audience, we need to do a few things. We're going to dive deep in like we always do. We're going to make sure that you understand exactly what it is, the steps you need to take, so you can feel confident in your abilities to build an audience. Now, if you with me, let's ride. All right, we gonna forget about. Listen, we throwing everything out the door today. Set aside your beliefs. Set aside your political aspects. Set aside everything. Cause see, the one thing you gotta understand is what's going on in this world today. You need to figure out how to join the game. It's not about what they're doing. It's how do you make them change their mind? See, when you start building an audience, you get into that percentage that they're in. When you become in that 1%, I ain't saying billion, I'm talking about million. When you start making those dollars, they'll start changing the game because then everybody's going to get into it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're Mexican. I don't care if you're Chinese. I don't care. Once you start putting yourself in position and build the audience and get into the upper echelon, the upper 1%, they'll change the game. Notice they're changing the game to fit them. But if you put and play the game, if you, coach, put me in, and now you're getting to that point where you're 6 to 7 figures a year and possibly 6 figures a month, they'll change the game. You'll be in there, then they'll be like, so many millionaires. We got to figure out, there's too much money out here that's being made. We got to figure out how we're missing out. They'll change the game. So if we're going to build that audience, let's build that audience. All right. Y'all ready? Let's build it. Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up, my solopreneurs? What's up, all my entrepreneurs? What's up, all my content creators? Welcome back to the Solopreneur Chronicles Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Anthony Porter. And you know what today's episode is? We talked about it right there in the beginning. We're breaking down exactly how everyone should feel, how everyone should position themselves, how to build an audience that will buy from you. You want to generate this online business. You got to figure out how you're going to get these folk out here, these clients, these potential customers, these potential community tribe members to buy from you. This is not about, the vanity metrics. This is not about the, creating. This is not about politics. This is about creating a loyal, engaging, followed that trust you and see you as the go-to solution for their problem. See, you have to have your target audience should have a problem, and you should have the solution to that problem. So let's be clear about that. They should have a problem, and you should be the solution. You should have the solution, excuse me. So if you have the solution, then you become the authority figure. See, a lot of folk don't get it. Folk don't want to get it sometimes, but they just don't get it. Like, you can solve a problem and everyone is going to say you're a genius. See, like with me, I have the 5 steps to launch podcast checklist. It helps you get ready to launch your podcast within 7 days, you really have to understand that most people these days have trust issues, especially with what's going on right now. They have trust issues. But I tell you what, by the end of this episode, here's what you're gonna learn. Because I'm here to teach. I'm gonna give you this game. Now, shout out to my guy, Gilly. I've never met Gilly the kid, nor have I ever met Wallow. I enjoy looking at $1 million worth of game. They are just so down to earth that they make podcasting for me a lot easier. Shout out to David Shands. He's the main reason why I do podcasting. And shout out to Marquell Russell. Mr. Dr. Russell is his title, Dr. Russell. His teachings have gotten me to understand that building my audience is what this is about. So we're going to learn by the end of this episode, we're going to learn the biggest mistakes solopreneurs make when trying to grow an audience and what they need to do instead. You're going to learn 3 key pillars that turn your audience from casual followers into buyers. And then we're going to hit you with a few actionable steps you can take today to start seeing results. So if you with me, let's get to it, man. Let's get into pillar number 1. Clarity. Pillar number 1 is just simple. It's clarity. What is it's clarity? Know your audience and message. See, most solopreneurs, they try to talk to everyone. You can't talk to everyone. Listen, you can't talk to everyone in the streets, period, right now. Like I said, we're not doing the political thing, but a lot of people make it that way. You can't talk to everyone in the streets. Because see, once you start talking to everyone in the streets, you end up talking to no one, and you end up connecting with no one. And then that becomes a problem, because then you don't have a leg to stand on. Your business is going down the tubes before it even gets started. You got to be super clear on who it is you're trying to serve. And then you got to be super clear on what problem that you're trying to solve. So one of the main problems that podcasters have is they're not tech savvy when they're starting out. They got the gift of gab, but they just not tech savvy. They don't understand that you can go out here and buy the podcast setup from Toomey, but your audio is going to be terrible. It's a good way to start. If you want to jump straight in, you got to be able to have that quality sound. Now, you starting out on a budget, maybe you have to do the other workarounds that can help you make not only your video podcast quality better, or your audio to your podcast better. One of the ways is I use Riverside.fm. That's an all-in-one platform. Now, here's what I tell folk all the time. I know you get $29. You got $29. You ain't got $29. Listen, there are folk out here driving Uber, DoorDash. They killing it. You got a car, you got a bike, you get that money, borrow it. That's how businesses get started. Use other people's money. Now, but you got to make sure that you can solve that problem. So for me, I tell people all the time, listen, 2 things you need to do. 1 is you got to pay for something, and then 2 is free. So if you have an iPhone 11 or better, your quality video is probably better than some of the cameras that out here today on the market. And then number 2, if you have taken the time and invested in the podcast setup for me, I think it's either Toomey or TikTok Shop, either one. You can go, and there's software out here, Riverside.fm. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can jump on there and test drive it and find out you be in love with it and keep it moving. Or you can jump onto Adobe and enhance the audio and make it sound like professional audio. It'll enhance it. And then you can start drawing and making people see you as the authority figure. Because a lot of people, well, here's what they do. A lot of people go out, buy this stuff, they start making content, and then they start posting on social media. And they're posting the wrong thing. Instead of you going on social media and saying, I help people grow on social media, say, I help solopreneurs use Instagram, because this is exactly what I do. I help solopreneurs use Instagram to attract high-paying clients without spending hours posting. So what you need to do is you need to make sure everything is picture perfect for you. So what you have to do, write down one clear statement about what you do and who you help, and say it in under 10 seconds. So set your watch again. Here's how it goes. Instead of you saying, I help people grow on social media, say, hey, I help solopreneurs use Instagram to attract high-paying clients without spending hours posting. That's what you say. Don't steal my stuff, but that's what you say. All right. So let's move on to pillar number 2. Pillar number 2, build trust and authority. Now, trust me. People buy from those who they know. People buy from brands that they know. People buy from people that they trust. I buy from TikTok Shop because I trust TikTok Shop. They ain't failed me yet. I buy from Amazon because I love Amazon. Prime is my favorite friend. There's a company now called Comfort Clothing. I buy from them. The jogging suits are just so remarkable. And that's just a shameless plug. I'm not getting paid by them, but I'm just telling you, I buy from Comfort Clothing. Oversized, fits me perfect. I get to walk around, just being me. But I buy from people that I trust. I research, and then I understand, okay, let me reach out to these folks. So how to build trust? You need to start sharing your personal experiences and struggles, because people feel like if they feel like they're in the same boat as you, they feel reliable. They feel relatable. I'm sorry. They feel like he's in the same boat. So literally, I started out, and here's the reason why I can say about that podcast. I bought 2 of them. I just felt like, man, I need to have this because I want to start this podcast. So many years ago, I bought one. It went out. I didn't have the money. My money was invested elsewhere. I bought another one. So I bought another one. And by me buying another one, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start this podcast. I didn't know the ins and outs. So I found David Sands. I found David Shands and Miss Donnie Wiggins. Social Proof Network. One of the first episodes that I seen with them, actually the first person I actually seen doing a video podcast was Earn Your Leisure. And they was interviewing a guy that I've literally been following since 2020. That's Nehemiah Davis. They was interviewing him. He's with the Circle of Greatness. I didn't know how to grow. So I was watching as he started to grow. And I said, yeah, I need that right now. I need to be able to do that right now. So I watched him share personal adventures. I watched him give free value. He was teaching something without asking for anything in return. So what do you think a podcast is? You're teaching something without asking for anything in return. I'm giving you, and I'm not going to steal that phrase, but I'm giving you 6-7 figures worth of game. I don't want the guys to be like, hey, bro, you stole our line. We need that money. I'm giving you 7 figures worth of game because you have to understand something. If you're giving away free value and you teach us something without asking for anything in return, now you can throw shameless plugs in there all you want, but yeah. So you have to understand that that's what it is. You have to use storytelling in your content. Use storytelling in your content. Tell a story. See, one of the main things that I like to talk about is where I come from. So I can stand right here and talk to you about how to hustle all day long. the block. Hey, from the block to the boardroom. You have to understand that the mentality that you have is survival. But you got to know how to build an audience. So you building a fan base. You building a unit that resonates with who you are. So if you're teaching content creation, share your own journey from your struggle, from zero engagement to growing a, profitable audience. You have to. Now, do this, and see how it helps. Post a piece of content this week that shares a personal lesson or a struggle. Just do it. Now, before we step into pillar number 3, understand this. Before we step into pillar number 3, understand this. The 5 step, make sure I say this right. It's more or less about understanding that every business needs a podcast. I truly feel that way. I truly believe that every business needs a podcast. But not every business owner knows how to start a podcast. So we have the podcast launch checklist, which that's a part of a system that I'm putting together. But we also have the 5-step launch sequence. We're dropping in March. Yeah, I want to make sure I say it right. So I'm checking my notes. It's the 5 steps to launch your podcast in 30 days. I said 7 earlier. It's 30. I'm sorry. So we put that together. It'll be ready March the 1st. And yeah, it's action-packed steps. Everything you're going to need to launch. And we want you to feel comfortable when you launch a podcast. A lot of people don't understand that launching, you don't have to be in front of the camera. You don't have to do a video podcast. You can do an audio podcast. A lot of people don't want to be in front of the camera. A lot of people are comfortable being behind the mic. A lot of people are comfortable writing blogs. It's all according to what you want to do. But launching a podcast is free marketing for you to promote your service, a product, what it is you do, how you can help. You giving value, you showing up, you doing what all you need to do. Now, with that being said, let's talk about pillar number 3. Oh, by the way, right now, if you're feeling good about this, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, because the podcast itself will help other solopreneurs discover this podcast. And when they discover the podcast, the community starts to grow. They might have some insight that you don't know about, and you might have some insight that they don't know about. And then together, y'all can put together a nice little insight. So, let's talk about pillar number 3, consistency. Show up, show out, and stay valuable. But while you stay valuable, stay visible. See, the biggest reason why your audience doesn't buy is they don't know who the hell you are. They don't even know you exist. They forget you exist. You post a video or make a post one day, and then the next day they don't know who the hell you are, where the hell you went to. The key is to stay on top of their mind. If you've ever paid attention to how marketing works, let me show you how marketing works, all right? So when they made these Super Bowl commercials here a couple of weeks ago, ever since then, I've seen the same Super Bowl commercial with Seal. Ever since then. So until they reach the end of the marketing budget or the marketing campaign, you're going to see that commercial 5 times a day, 6 times a day, 7 times a day. It doesn't make a difference. Whatever they pay for them slots, they're going to show it. All right. So pick 1 or 2 platforms and post consistently. I use YouTube. I use Instagram. Every day I post. I use shorts, I use reels, TikToks. TikToks and reels are two of the most powerful things. Long form content is where you educate. Shorts and TikToks is where you sneak into value. So you use long-term content for YouTube, you use long-term content for podcasts, and you use it for blogs. But your short-term content, TikToks, Reels, Facebook, Reels, Stories, things like that. Engage. Hey, so listen, if people comment to you, reply back to them. So one of the coolest things that I learned was when people would follow me, I started following them back, but I would say, hey, thank you. Thank you for following me. If there's anything I can do to help you along with your journey, feel free to reach out to me. And that's what brands do. See, think about brands that you buy from repeatedly. It's become a consistent thing for them to show up in your world. So yeah. So here's what you need to do. Create a simple content plan for the next 30 days. Commit to posting what you schedule. Now, you can use AI. A lot of people are like, I don't want to use AI. Use AI. The object of the game now is to work smarter, not harder. You want to take back, the object of this game is you want your financial freedom back. So, work smarter, not harder. All right. Stick to your schedule and everything will run smooth. So we covered the main points, right? Don't forget, coming in March 1st. 5 steps to launch your podcast in 30 days. You gotta think about it, man. Podcast is the new radio. YouTube is the new television. And the list goes on and on. So let's jump into these quick tips that I want to give you. And I'm going to get you out of here because I know you got some time that you want to get busy with. You want to jump on this. You want to make sure that you literally cover all your bases. All right. So quick tip number 1, instead of saying, buy my product, show how it solves a real pain point. Number 2, go live once a week to answer your audience questions and boost the engagement. Number 3, use email marketing. Your email list is the audience most likely to buy from you. The money's in the list. Check out a Russell Brunson video on YouTube and he's going to say that 1 billion times. Offer low ticket products or freebies to turn your followers into buyers. And then number 5, see, that was quick tip number 4. Number 5, be patient. Build a profitable audience takes time, but be consistent. And then once you're being consistent, consistency will pay off. All right. Simple. So check this out. Not only have I recently launched a new digital product with the 5 steps to launch your podcast in 30 days, which is free. But I also launched a new business. And see, at first I wasn't expecting it to really pop off as fast as it's starting to. Because see, everybody's just so used to seeing me on the podcast, or they used to seeing me talk to people, and they used to me having Wicked Artistry Candle Company. So I started talking to my friends and they started talking to their people. And I guess for me, I felt like nobody was feeling it. But I didn't panic. I looked at the engagement. I looked at me talking, the networking. I looked at me communicating and realized I haven't built up enough trust for them to understand why this business can help them solve another problem. So I switched up my strategy, jumped back, did some more market research. Then I started sharing behind the scenes. I just start personally sending DMs of me creating this product. I start showing them how I created this product. And then they said, I want to try that product. So it made them feel good to see me. I wasn't BSing them. And that's what you have to do. See, when you start with your strategy, share behind the scenes content. Show them that what you're doing can help them, benefit them in the long run. The free training, make it, hey, your audience, make them feel included in the process. And the results, for me, my engagement tripled. For you, it could quadruple. And your sales could start coming in. And that's organically. Because if you're starting a business or you're starting a podcast, it's hard to start a podcast on a budget. But we can show you the workarounds. So, selling isn't just about the product. It's about making your audience feel like it was made exactly for them. So, that about wraps it up for me. I appreciate you stopping through. Let's recap something. Number one, to build an audience that buys from you, get clear on who you serve and what problem it is that you solve. Number two, build the trust by providing value and sharing your personal story. And then number three, stay visible and consistent. Don't disappear. Those are the three pillars that you need to understand. Now, if you find today's episode of value, do me a favor, subscribe to the podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on all your streaming platforms, so you don't miss the episodes. After you subscribe, leave us a review. It helps more solopreneurs like you find this content. Now, you want to read about some things? Head on over to Solopreneur Chronicles Podcast.com. Check out the latest articles. And then, don't forget to follow us on Solopreneur Chronicles PC on Instagram. All right. And then look, once you do everything that I just said do, screenshot and give me your biggest takeaway of today's episode. Now, until next time, keep building, keep growing. And remember, your audience is waiting for you. Now go show up, show out, show them, be valuable, be visible, be consistent, be a solopreneur. And I'm going to see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Solopreneurs Chronicles podcast. I hope today's episode gave you the insights and inspiration you need to take the next step in your business journey. If you enjoyed the show, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and share this episode with a fellow solopreneur. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach more people just like you. Let's thank our producers of the show, Sincere and Charlie Straughter, Rhea Cash and Theory Porter. So don't forget, for more tips, tools and resources, subscribe to the show. So just keep building, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.